Tony's a bit behind. Where was that coming from? Where the hell? God, no. It's one of you two. You two are playing scoundrels on me, aren't you? That's what you're doing. You two are playing. You're playing scoundrels. Philip, we're joined by some different planet. What we'll get there. Hi and good evening, and welcome to the best podcast, Spurs podcast on YouTube. This is live here on THFC Till I Die. Of course, live also on the Full-Time Sports Network. It will be also going up tonight on our Spotify channel as well. So look for us. The link for that will be put into the chat. But if you go to Spotify and put in the Cockeral Clock podcast, you will find it here. So how are we all this evening? It's nearly game day again. One preseason game down, the second go. But joining me on the next hour of fun, arguments, debate, laughter, tantrums, whatever you like to call it. Of course, it's my main co-host, Mr. Philip Brady, a.k.a. Roger Taylor. And I don't know what to describe the bloke below. I'm absolutely...
He looks like Tom out of Tom and Jerry at the moment.
Can I ask, do you work for Blofeld on part-time basis, by the way? Anyway, no, Philip, how are you this evening, sir? And if you owned a computer, it's been a tough day for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, lucky enough, I was okay. It wasn't affected by that. I'm using Apple, so I don't use Microsoft. Yeah. Maybe that was help. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like to be doing my shopping anywhere today. Paying by card, I'll tell you, there'll be a lot of stuff put back on the shelf.
Yeah.
Spurs, you happy though? Spurs land, Spurs back tomorrow, Philip. We are doing the watch along, so you happy? Looking forward to it?
Oh yeah. I mean, the pre-season is good to get a look at these new players, see how the fitness levels are coming up. Although I think tomorrow will be a sterner test than Hearts were.
I think so.
Actually, Hearts were good in the first half, but our kids blew them away in the second half. You know.
Yeah, I actually rewatched the highlights today, Philip, and I did a pre-game pre-record. Oh, them kids! I'm calling them our class of '92. I don't care what Colin says. We've now got our version of '92.
Call them the class of 24. Call them the class of 24.
Yeah, but they're like. But the point I'm saying, there are a version of that generation, if you know to me. But they are. And I don't know how to describe you below, but you're in a studio, so fair play to you.
Very professional, aren't I?
Yeah. Did Jerry help you with that by any chance? Did he offer him a bit of cheese to help you with that studio?
I think he's in the local
Tom and Jerry. You guys like? I'm a cat in a recording studio. Somehow, we'll just pretend. How are we doing, guys?
We just pretend I like that. I like that. Well, let's see who's in the chat, guys. Then we will get cracking. We've got Stephen Cartwright. Evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Please give us some real transfer news. There's been no news today. Absolutely.
Not really.
Apart from rumours and that, but there really isn't any concrete news apart from what we broke last night that Tottenham are in talks with Jonathan Davis. And we have been in talks with him for several months. So that one could get over the line very quickly indeed. The Killie says, please become a member of our Patreon membership. Start as low as 3 months. Please support us while we fight against YouTube to get our channel memberships back. There is the link. And Boris is asking a question here. He goes, guys, is there anything I'll get from my Go membership yet? With 2 kisses.
What do you think?
Firstly, thank you for the kisses. That's very nice. Finn really appreciates them.
He's blushing. Look, he's blushing now.
I couldn't. Sorry, Philip. I couldn't help that. I'm sorry.
Revenge will be swift and merciless. Don't worry.
Yeah, and you're gonna. It's a long season, Philip. It's a long season. That's all I'm gonna say. You do, because we're starting fan shows now. We are going to start them after the Leicester game. So your Go membership gets you to come in on the channel. It also gets you to come in on post-game shows as well, or the podcast. This Go membership gets you to come on the podcast as a guest. and you get to come on the fan shows as well. You do that through the Discord. The link for the Discord, if you want to join us, is in the description as well. So I've seen what he's just put. I don't know. I don't want to call them that. I let Tequila call them that. If I call him that, he'd probably send the hitman down for me.
Thank you, Boris. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's the second bit I'm going to get hit for. But that's what it does. So is it Leicester, isn't it, Tequila and Philip, that we start fan shows? So that's what the gold membership gets you.
That's the first match, yeah.
Also get to come on these podcasts with me and Philip and Colin and yourself. So, Boris, that's what it gets you. So next Friday, if you're free, let us know. We'll send you a link and you can come on and talk all things Spurs. And he says, stop bullying the poor Irish Tom Jones.
Thank you, Boris. Checks in the post.
Yeah. Checks in the mail, yeah.
Do you know what? I think he's more of a Roger Taylor than Tom Jones. I think the Tom Jones thing has ran its course. I think it's now Roger Taylor.
Well, if you ever heard me singing, you say you definitely agree with that because Tom Jones can sing. Roger Taylor doesn't.
Roger Taylor does sing, actually. He's had a few singles out in his time.
He's not a main singer. I must say, I couldn't sing. If I sang, I'd break a glass. I'd be that bad. You know?
Yeah. Boris says, no problem, Philip. Anytime. 75% of the gold membership goes to Philip. He deserves the raise.
Thank you, Boris. Again, second checks in the post.
On that bombshell.
Let's get on with the football.
He likes you, Phil.
I do,
yes.
Yeah.
Phil's got a super fan. What about us, Tequila? We get no one. I've got Mrs. Tron, and you've got.
I'm the runt of the litter. I'm used to it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're the youngster that you're the fella.
I'm the black sheep. I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm the runt of the litter. I'm the last one to get invited to the parties. BB.
Well, no.
Let's face it. Look, if Racco Welsh had triplets, you'd be the one on the bottle. Is that the case, one?
Yeah, mate. Definitely.
No, very quickly. I was watching the news last night, and of course, of the riots up in Leeds, which is terrible and everything.
Yeah.
But this fella, right? This is no word of a lie. I was watching some stupid YouTube news channel, right? Somebody videoed him trying to light a chair.
I saw that. I was trying to set the bus on fire. Well, talk about giving yourself up to the police. I mean, good God.
Right, he tried it once, it didn't work. He tried it again. He must have tried about 4 times. And then his mate was round the back saying, come round here, you've got a better chance at this.
He was trying to set the seat on fire with his lighter. I'm not even covering his face. What an idiot. I'd say he's probably eating prison food at the minute.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, Philip, and Tequila, he was looking at the camera while you was filming.
Hi, it's me. I'm setting fires in the bus.
Very happy with himself.
I think he gets the prize, the idiot of the week. I think we have to give him that.
Well, that is a new thing on the podcast, idiot of the week, and I'm going to do it with the Benny Hill theme tune for next week and everything. I'm going to do a proper thing. But that fella does get idiot of the week. Right, let's get back to what we love best, which is the football. Hearts versus Spurs. Second pre-season, but a first official one. First official one.
Yeah, first night.
Good win, 5-1, 2 different teams. Now, just firstly, Philip, your thoughts of the game as a whole.
Right. Okay, we played a very unusual formation in so much as we had 3 non-defenders playing in the defence. We had Jamie Donnelly and we had Archie Gray and we had Oliver Skipp, who's probably the most unlikely centre-half ever to play in the history of football. But anyway, Hearts created a few chances. They just weren't good enough to take them. We played some lovely football. Some of the interchanging. It reminded me of the push and run days. It really was. It was really good stuff. And what really pleased me was when we changed the entire team at half-time to basically bring on most of the kids, we absolutely blew Hearts out of the water. Yeah. It was, to see the likes of Mikey Moore getting his name chanted by the Spurs fans at 16 years of age, you must have thought all his Christmases had come together. So it was a good, and don't get carried away. It's a pre-season friendly. There'll be tougher tests. But for a first game out, I thought the football we played was really fluid. It was quick. There was good movement. There was no standing still waiting for the ball to come. You went and looked for the ball. And I'm very happy with it. Yeah, very happy. And by the way, it's the second time. The last time we went up to play Hearts at Tynecastle was during Raphael van der Vaart's day. and we scored 5 that night as well. So
that was in the Europa League playoff, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5 something. Yeah, 5-0.
Yeah. Keela, look, Philip described the game pretty well. Was there any, at first half or second half for you, which part impressed you the most?
Well, I haven't seen that much of the game. I've seen a couple of the highlights. I didn't watch the game live like you guys did. But from what I gathered and from what I've seen, I thought they played better in the second half. I was very interested in seeing the Skip centre-back experiment because I think that says to me that Skip's staying. And I think he's going to stay because they're going to turn him into a utility player. They're going to say, okay, so he can cover for centre-back in an emergency. He can cover for left-back in an emergency. And he's homegrown. So that's what I learned from it as well, is that I think Skip's now going to stay. I wasn't sure that he was, but I think Ange is going to be back. So Davis might be on his way out. So Skip is going to be the new version of Ben Davis, with all due respect, as being that utility guy who will only play if there's an injury crisis in a certain position. So what do you guys think of that?
Look, for me, I was impressed with the way we played. I was impressed how we did play. It was, Philip, you are right. It was a bit of push and run, very much push and run, and that Ange ball, how it's supposed to be played. What impressed me most was the way that all the players started. There was a lot of players closing down early, doing a lot of hard yards. I thought Jed Spence played well. I thought Mikey Moore, the kids came on. They did themselves no harm whatsoever and did themselves very proud. I thought we took our goals well. So out of all of that, Philip, it was a great start to pre-season, and it's a win that we needed. It's a good start. It's a win, and it breeds confidence. Winning breeds confidence. Out of all of it,
but what about Jed Spence?
Well, this is what I'm going to get onto. Yeah, this is what I'm going to get onto, Tequila, which is a very good point, and thank you for pointing me in that direction. Out of all of them, Philip, which one player impressed you the most out of all of them?
It's a tough question because there was some very impressive performances, especially in that second half. But the one that caught my eye now, and I've been raving about this guy for ages, and I really, really think he's going to be something. It's our new number 15, taking Eric Dyer's shirt. It's Lucas Bergvall. I think that guy has come in. He won't be the Premiership won't phase him. He's got such skill. He reminds me of a young Glenn Hoddle, the way he glides around the pitch there. But he's not. He's actually he gets involved more than Hoddle. He gets back and he defends as well. So I thought he was excellent. I thought Jed Spence. I'd say Jed Spence may have just earned himself a place in the squad with that performance as well. He was really, really good, and he's probably the one that we thought would be, maybe least interested. But he gave everything. He really did. I mean, the pass for what you call him, Will Lankshire's goal. Yeah, that was pure Madison type passing. Yeah. So I'd say the players that probably least impressed me just go the other way. And I thought maybe it's the fact that they're not fully fit, or maybe the fact they've got their mind on other things, was the inevitable Emerson Royale, who we'll talk about later. And I felt Sonny was a bit off his game as well, but I wouldn't mind that. It's early days. But the rest of the guys really, really put a good performance in.
Tequila, I know you didn't watch the whole game, so probably it's a bit of an unfair question for you. But what you did see, who impressed you the most? If you could pick one player, who impressed you the most?
I think I will say Jed Spence. Although I do like Bergvall, like Philip said, it was good to see him because I didn't. All I've heard is kind of hype. I'd not really seen him. He looked pretty tidy from what I saw. But Jed Spence is an interesting one with Jed Spence because he was bought for he was a club signing, right, under Conte's reign. You can tell from day one Conte didn't want him, right? It was blatantly obvious, so obvious that Conte didn't want him. But apparently we'd been watching him as a club for many years. And if you remember, Levy went out of his way to go get him. Levy took over do you remember all this? Levy took over the negotiations and went to meet him and probably met his family. So it was very much a Levy emphasis signing. So we obviously must have seen something in him. So if Jed Spence, like Phil said, can I don't think he's going to start over Porro, and I don't think he should expect to. But if he is willing, and it's got in the play, and he is willing to stay at Spurs for another year, knowing that he will get limited game time and will probably be covering only for Porro. I don't think he's going to probably challenge Porro unless Porro has a really bad season. But if he's okay with that, then that Jed Spence signing could save us a lot of money, especially if Emerson goes, because you won't need to go and get ourselves.
Do you think he could be our? Do you think he could be our utility player instead of Oliver Skip? Do you think that's a possibility?
I mean,
he's versatile enough. He can play in a few different positions, you know.
He can play on the right wing, I suppose. You could put him up top on the right wing.
Yeah, just a thought, you know.
You could do that.
Yeah,
I don't know if he can play like defensive midfield and stuff like Skip.
But I think you've got to single out the kids in that game as well. We haven't really mentioned the kids. I mean, Lancashire and Donnelly and Mikey Moore. I mean, it's as if they've been with the first team all their lives. Really, you know, it's incredible.
I'm surprised none of you has mentioned Archie Gray, who I thought had a fantastic
I mean, he was because then again, Archie Gray is not really. I know he's a new kid on the block for us, but he's quite an experienced professional. So he was great. He had a really good game. He had a really good game.
And the very position he doesn't play now. There is a little bit of convicting reports in now. Villa 1982, James UTV says, I can tell you Villa have rejected enough from Spurs for Jacob Ramsey plus Lo Celso. But on 8:42, so not so long ago, the Daily Hotspur put in, Justin, that Aston Villa are close to agreeing an exchange deal for Lo Celso and Jacob Ramsey. Ramsey would join Spurs in the exchange for Lo Celso plus £19 million. So there's conflicting reports at the moment. We've got Villa 1982, who is a Villa fan, saying Villa have rejected the offer. But on X, the Daily Hotspur put in that Tottenham and Villa are close to agreeing an exchange deal.
Interesting.
So we don't know what's happening there. We have to see what happens. Look, firstly on that, Philip and Tequila, Jacob Ramsey, a player you would like at Spurs?
Yeah. I mean, he's a good player now. Whether 19 million plus the Celso is a fair valuation. I mean, I think we're undervaluing the Chelsea. I mean, the Argentinians love him. It just doesn't seem to work out for him at Tottenham. So maybe he'll do a good job at Villa. But yeah, Ramsey's a good player. He's a versatile player, and. But like again, it's conflicting reports now. Is he? Will he? Won't he? Will he? Won't he? Time will tell. But I don't really know whether that's going to happen or not. It's really.
Well, look.
He's a good player. He's a good player, Dermo. But it's like if what Villa James is saying in the chat is true, his last comment. 50 to 70 million, ridiculous.
No, that's way overpriced. Way overpriced. I mean, basically, one good season does not make you a £7 million player.
They want, if they really want that much for him, then I suggest that we don't go any further with negotiations.
No, I don't think so. But not
for that money.
But anyway, that conflicting report, that's from the Daily Hotspur, so that's on there. We'll keep you up to date on that. And also, Gary Becks is put in here. Just let me get what Gary is saying. Also, it says, in the nose, I follow, say we're only sending Ramsey to people out, nothing more. Gallagher is still the target. Well, this is a very good, actually, thing to go on to the topic that Tequila wanted to talk about. And that's Gallagher. And you're sick of this, aren't you, Tequila? Look, my view, before we let you have your view, my view is Gallagher will happen. He will end up at Tottenham for some reason. Now, I know I said to Philip he'll probably end up at Villa, but I still think deep down in my gut, he will end up at Tottenham. I think he wants to stay in London, and he looks across at what Tottenham are doing and where Tottenham are going. And he's looking at Chelsea thinking, well, do I want to stay in the circus being run by a complete lunatic at the lunatic asylum, being run by Todd Bowley, or do I want to go to a Premier League club that are going places? So I think he will end up there. I think we'll end up getting David Davis as well, the striker. And I also think, I don't know, we've got a centre-back, a defender, and a winger coming in. So I don't know who they would be, but Gallagher, Tequila. why do you want this out so much? Why are you so sick of this? Because we all know transfers have not happened because of the Euros.
Yeah, but he's become the latest in line. There's always some player we're always admiring from afar, and for some reason we never put a bidding, and we never decide to move on. It's like having a crush. It's like having a crush. It's like being, you watch The Simpsons. It's like being Milhouse, and he goes up to Lisa and he goes, "So you're telling me there's a chance then?" She keeps rejecting him, and then he goes up to her and says, "You're telling me there's a chance then?" This is what it's like Spurs, right? We've been after him again and again. We had this last year. We were after him last year. So either it is all paper talk and hype, which doesn't sound like it is because we've heard from multiple sources. So there must be some truth. And I do believe that Ange probably likes the player. It's one of those things where make your bid, and then if it's rejected, please move on. Don't keep on going back and back and back and back. Because while we're pissing about doing that, there might be another player in the same position who can do as good a job, who just goes to one of our rivals while we're mucking around. And Spurs have got a history of doing this. And I joked with Philip about this Damiao, but that was real as well. That was the last one I can remember where every season we were after him. It became a meme. It became a joke. And to me, I don't think Gallagher's special enough either to warrant all this attention. He's not a bad player, don't get me wrong. And I wouldn't mind him at Spurs. But I don't think he's this unbelievable player that we just have to have, that all our time seems to be going on him.
Yeah,
I think Gallagher would suit us better than Ramsey would, though.
Yeah, I do.
Gallagher would suit us better than Ramsey.
I mean,
I agree. It's dragging on too long, and it should make a bid. But then don't ever forget this: that the animosity between Chelsea and Spurs leaves transfers between our clubs quite rare and always very difficult.
We don't work with them often, do we? Yeah,
but you look at Chelsea, the mess they're in. They need the money for FFP and PSR. Let's not forget that. Also, Philip is right. We don't like each other. It's very rare we get more managers off Chelsea than we do players. To be fair, which is true.
Yeah.
We got Poyet off them, didn't we? Was Poyet a direct transfer from?
No,
Gallus as well. We got, didn't we?
Yeah, Gallus, Poyet. I can't remember.
Was that free transfer? Or was that a free transfer for Gallus?
That was a free transfer, I think.
Yeah.
Christopher Inshaw's put
Rabbits he left
on
Chelsea,
free.
Didn't he, before he joined us?
Yeah.
Rabbits on not bad shout.
On the free.
Rabiot,
for free.
Rabiot.
Free,
He turned us down a few years ago. We reckon we weren't a big enough club.
Yeah.
But I think that his attitude may have changed. He's a decent player, Rabiot. I'd say I wouldn't say no to him at all.
But I have been told Spurs will get 4 players in this summer. A defender, a midfielder, a winger, and a striker.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they start moving on it soon, because the longer it goes on, the more the doubting Thomases come out of the woodwork. We're not going to do anything, Do
you know what? The doubting Thomases can come out as much as they like. The transfers haven't happened. You got Copa America, you had the Euros, so nothing was happening there anyway. And all this talk about Man United buying players left, right, and centre, they bought youngsters that weren't at the Euros, so it was easy for them to do them transfers. Yeah. There's still a lot of players away on holiday.
That defender's going to be a good player, Demo.
Pardon?
That Euro got that Euro guy they've just bought. He's going to be a very good player.
Yeah, he is. But he wasn't at the Euro. That's the point. There's a lot and transfers don't happen overnight. Transfers. It's not like playing Football Manager and you bought a player within 5 minutes. There's this yourself, Philip and Tequila. There's image rights. There's agents' fees.
Agents' fees, yeah.
They're
the biggest hold-up. They're the biggest hold-up.
Are you trying to tell me that FIFA isn't like real life, Dermo?
No, it's not like real life. I'm sorry to break it to you, Tequila.
FIFA's not like real life.
No, I am really sorry.
I'm flabbergasted that it's not.
I'm sorry I had to break that news to you. Do you need to sit down?
Heart's broken, Dermo.
I'm sorry.
Need some time now.
And also, by the way, Lisa
next thing you're going to be telling me that Santa Claus isn't real.
Lisa Simpson's not a real person either, Tequila, just in case.
Really?
Yeah. We're going to have to be...
This is a bad day around for me.
Poor old Tequila.
Illusions smashed all over the place.
I don't mind if Tottenham get a player in now or to get a player on deadline day, as long as they get players in.
Better get them in early, though, Dermot. Let them get the early pre-season. Get a pre-season, if possible. Get them in early. That's what I'd say.
In hindsight, get them in early, Philip. that is the rule of thumb. You get them in early.
Just have a pre-season, so they don't join when the season's up. Pre-season's been done.
You know what transfers are like.
Oh, I do. I do. Of course I do.
How many times are we going after players and it's dragged, and then you got the Doubting Thomases come out, and then you get the Levy. No disrespect to you, what I'm about to say, the killers, and please don't take this the wrong way. And you're not like them. You're a very respectable person. Some of the Levy ads come out. This is the same old, and it's we've got a different setup within Tottenham now. We've got a different people doing transfers. And Ange is not going to sit by and let Levy pull the wool over his eyes on this. We all know that. You, me, know that more than anyone for what he's like. So my advice to everyone is just be patient. We will get them done. We will get the players in. And with the kids coming through and what Ange is doing the pre-season, we're going to be in one hell of a ride this season. Absolute one hell of a ride. And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for the season.
Dermo, one more thing. Can I mention? I'm going to mention Gallagher, and then I'll leave it. One more thing about Gallagher.
You mentioned
with the Archie Gray signing. Yeah, with the Archie Gray signing, right?
Yeah.
With the Archie Gray signing, do we really need Gallagher?
Yeah.
With the Archie Gray signing,
different position.
I mean, I'd rather Gray be signed. I'd rather. Archie Gray's centre midfield, isn't he? I know he can play.
Well, he can play right. He can play right back. He can play on the right side. He can play a lot of places. A lot of places. But I think Gallagher might be more.
If we need Gallagher,
yeah.
See, I see him as a box to box. I don't think him as an attacking midfielder. I get your point.
He can play in various positions, Archie Gray. So I do get your point, but I think we do need Gallagher. I think you need a backup for Basuma as well as Sarr. But do you keep Højbjerg then? If Højbjerg stays, do you keep Højbjerg and use him? I've come to now.
I see who.
Here's my question to you guys, right?
Dermo's muted.
No, I'm not muted. No. Here's my question to you guys, right? And I'll start you in this for then go Tequila, right? Højbjerg. Would you keep him around in the squad as a squad player? Give him enough game time with all the competitions we're in. Would you keep him in the squad? For me, yes, I would. Personally, me, but I'm a fan of Højbjerg anyway. But would you?
If you'd asked me that question a month ago, I would have said yes. I think at the moment, with the incoming players that were purported to be buying, the likes of Gray and whatever, and maybe Gallagher coming in, I think he's not going to get game time next season, and I think he'll be pushing to get away. It's not that I really want him to go, but I can't see him staying.
No. Tequila, what about you? Where are you on Højbjerg?
I'm happy to see him sold. Not only is he one of the few players we can probably get 20 million maybe, but also, and I don't hate the player. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's all right, but he's also one of the last members, along with Ben Davies, of the kind of old guard, should we say? We heard stories about these four players. It was Kane, Dyer, Højbjerg, and Davis, I think, and they were kind of like the kind of people kind of in control. And two of them have gone, obviously. Yeah. So, and Højbjerg, don't think he wants to. Also, Dermo, I don't think he wants to stay. He doesn't look like he wants to stay. And that's important as well.
He doesn't want to stay.
So that would just be Ben Davies.
Yeah, he doesn't want to stay, Tequila. But I mean, for his professionalism, is he good for the squad? Is he good for the younger players? How to react if you're not in the squad? How to be professional? To turn up on time, to training on time.
I mean,
to turn up on meetings on time. Is it good to have place?
Yeah, but not. You can't have him there just because he's professional as a role model. I understand what you mean.
I'm not saying that, but
that's important, and that should be there.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a disruptive influence.
He needs to bring more to the table than just professionalism, though, of course, I'm not saying that's not important. But if he's not good, for his own career as well, I mean, what is he, 26, 27? So
28.
He's probably got another
28.
5 years or so at the top level. 28. Well, he's got about another 4 or 5 years.
But do you not think though, if he comes in, if he stays, right, and doesn't get game time, will he then become a disruptive influence in the dressing room? It's okay to play every match. He might stay, but you don't know, Dermot. He might well do.
I don't I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
But we don't know. We don't know. But maybe maybe that's why he wanted to get away. He made it no secret he wanted to get away. Maybe that's because. So I can't see him staying if he's not guaranteed game time, which you can't guarantee anybody game time really. So I'd be very, very surprised if he's still there at the start of the season.
Just a bit of news, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Phil. Do you not think his? Sorry, go on, Demo.
Just a little bit of news as well. This is from Villa. He's a great lad. He ran the assist Villa in 1982. He says this is new. I'd love to know where he's seen this, but apparently this is another rumor. I treat all these as rumors until we get them confirmed by our source. So this is another transfer rumor. Richarlison is ready to move to Saudi Arabia with the Saudi Pro League preparing a move. Now, the Saudi Pro League, I was told, had 2 billion euros to spend on transfers this summer. And they wanted to raid the Premier League. Richarlison, look, a good lad to have round his side. Love his attitude, love his gamemanship, love his antics, love his shithousery. Do you know what I mean? You feel sorry for him. He's been very brave coming out about his mental health as well, which I think is, you don't get many players having the guts and the courage to do that, by the way. I think he's been applauded for that, rightly so. He's had a lot of injuries. I've always said Richarlison for me was a small fish in a big pond, where at Everton he was a big fish in a small pond. Tequila, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to you, Philip, because I want to alternate in it round. Tequila, for you, Richarlison, there's only just one word answer. Keep or sell?
Sell.
Philip, keep or sell?
One word answer, sell.
Sell, because I'll tell you why. If we're going to buy another striker, Jonathan David or whatever, we also have Will Lancashire, we've got Dane Scarlett, we've got Veliz, we've plenty of strikers. We get 60 million from Richarlison and snap their hand off, because that's getting their money back, and that's what we want to do here. No offense to that. I take what you said. If he stays, I'll not be distraught, but I can't see him staying.
Yeah. Tequila, what's your reason behind selling as well? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
Damn, you're very smart, because I thought you just like, we don't want Tequila to go on a Richarlison rant, but you just asked me, so I'll take that back. I didn't like him at Everton, right? So this has got nothing to do really. I didn't particularly want him from Everton, right? I didn't think he was good enough as a striker, and it's not really to do with his shithousery. That's the term, right? It's not to do with that. It's to do because I didn't think he had a good enough goal return. His record is still 13 goals, and if you're spending 50 to 60 million with add-ons, you need more than 13 goals. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I understand that the market's changed, but still, I still think that that's too much for 13 goals. And he has lived up to what I thought he was going to be. Unfortunately, he seems to be a bit injury prone as well, which I didn't know that he was as injury prone as he seems. Maybe the kid's just been unlucky, but still, it is what it is, right? He's injured a lot. So he seems to be injury prone. The mental health stuff I've got time for, because I understand that that's something that can happen to anyone. Yeah. But just looking at it professionally, we need to cut our losses. And if Phil, as Phil says, if we can get our money back, wow, that'd be amazing.
I don't think we will get our money back. I think he'll go for around 30, 35 million.
There's supposed to be a bid of 60 coming in, Dermot.
Yeah, well, I heard that as well.
But if they bid 60, we're not going to take 35. We're going to take whatever their bidding is,
Yeah. Last word on Spurs are reporting this as well, guys. I've just seen it myself. Tottenham are close to reaching an agreement with Villa on the signing of Jacob Ramsey. Their sales are going in the opposite direction. Am I right? I'm going to ask Tequila this. Tequila's a big fan of the Yellow Submarine, and he knows what I'm on about, Villarreal. Was it him? Was the Villa manager at Villarreal when Lo Celso was there, when they reached the Champions League semi-final?
Yeah. Emery. Yeah.
Emery.
To be honest, Emery's been the best manager to get the most out of him. That's why I think these links keep happening, because it's the only Lo Celso's best form has come under Emery. So that's why these links keep happening, I think.
Look, I think this will happen. I'm sending a couple of messages off to my source now, or contact, or you, if you can, Tequila, you do it if you can. To two of them. But look, any breaking news in this, if this breaks at 12 o'clock tonight, I'll be back on live with the lates for you. So we will keep you up there. Philip, look, Emerson, we did talk about him a little bit. He made an absolute howler at the start of the second half. You and me have different opinions on this, how I feel about him and what you said. We talked about it briefly backstage. I think Emerson just showed his head's not in the right space. There's news of him with AC Milan. Milan have offered 8 million. Tottenham will not accept anything less than 20 million. I was very upset with the mistake he made, because it was such a stupid mistake to make. And rightly you say players can make mistakes, and there will be more mistakes as the season goes on. And you're right to say that. But if his head not in the right space, why play him? Because his head's not going to be in the game. Emerson, what's your feeling on him, Philip? He divided the fan base at the start. Everyone then started to love him last season because, to be fair to him, he played well in centre back when he was asked to. Now this, where are you on Emerson?
Oh God, I'm losing the will to live over this fella.
It's not that bad, Philip.
No, he made a mistake. I mean, I know we can all pillory players making mistakes.
Your favorite player, Phil.
No, listen, I would think, the 8 million offer is a joke. Forget about that. He's worth, bad and old as he is, he's worth more than that. Jesus Christ, a bloody tea lady's nearly worth 8 million, the way prices are going in the minute. So, you get 15 million for him to say bye-bye. You're right, his head wasn't in the right place. It was a silly mistake to make, but it won't be the worst mistake a Spurs player makes this season. I can guarantee you that. So I think he played because he's in the squad still until something happens, as are a number of players. So let's hope that AC Milan make a more realistic bid for him. We've got Archie Gray back in. He can cover fullback. There's talk too again of Kyle Walker-Peters.
Yeah,
maybe coming back. It wouldn't be say no to a move back to Tottenham.
What foot? Is Archie Gray left-footed or right-footed? You guys know.
Left foot. That Walker-Peters won't happen, Philip. I'm telling you that now. He wants to stay.
I'm only saying what the talk was, though. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah,
that was the talk.
He wants to stay at Southampton because why would he want to move back? He's not going to get the game time at Tottenham, where he's the number one right back. Now, I've just heard. Yeah, go on, Philip. Go on.
No, it's okay. Go on. That's right.
This is breaking news, guys.
Source says that the Villa transfer for 19 million and a Celso in exchange for Jacob Ramsey. They're exploring it at the moment. Yeah,
Tottenham are exploring a player plus cash deal. It's no way near being done. That is the latest I've got. It's nowhere near being done. So that's going to run.
That's what I said, Prof.
Yeah. And also constant talks ongoing. Spurs are looking at a lot. Well, constant talks ongoing as Spurs are looking at a lot of avenues. So what's avenues to you guys? What's avenues for you?
Park Avenue?
No, but
by the ground?
Is this Paratici what it does? He has a lot of plates spinning. Or is this a smoke screen for
no, this is this Lange. Like this is Lange. This is Lange, isn't it? Surely he must. He's one. He's probably the one behind this one.
Lange,
he came from Villa, didn't he?
Yeah. But look, for every player, player we're actually connected with,
it's probably him.
The press are putting out 3 or 4 others. So you have to separate the wheat from the chaff here. There's a lot of smoke screens. There's a lot of stuff coming out. It's laughable, really. So it's really hard to distinguish what's actually going to happen and what's going to happen. And the club won't comment until the players sign, quite rightly. So the boys sitting there making who we get say Tottenham are interested in today, lads. That's the way it's gone. So that's why I don't really believe a lot of the stuff I read in the papers. Any of it, really.
Look, we know Paratici likes doing smoke screens. That's his style. That's the way he does. Could this tequila be a smokescreen?
Do you really? No, I see. I'm not sure. I believe this smoke screen stuff. I always kind of giggle a little bit when I hear this smoke screen stuff. I really don't believe it. I just don't. This smoke, and then I hear it all the time. I'm going to be honest about it. I never believe this smoke screen stuff. I really don't. It's just a way of kind of like not when somebody doesn't understand a transfer or something that they say, "Oh, it's a smoke screen." More often than not, it doesn't end up being a smoke screen.
Well,
I'm not saying I'm not saying that no one has ever tried to do this, but it's like you want a player, just go in for him. This is like the whole problem.
Why I say that. I had a very very in-depth talk with one of our sources on this subject, and he says it goes on more than we realise within the football world. It is to give people, if somebody wants to do a transfer and they want to keep it secret, they will put out a story or they will leak something to the press. We're interested in this player. That it gives them the room to get the transfer they really want done. To get it done. So, do you feel?
I understand what you mean, but in this world full of agents, though, right? How can you keep anything secret? Because the agent is going to do everything in his power to get as many offers and get a bidding war going for his player.
They're the ones that are leaked. They're the ones making the leak.
Any player worth his salt has got an agent, and to get more people interested. So it's just like keeping the transfer secret nowadays. Does that really ever happen? That doesn't make sense for any agent to ever do that.
Well, that's what I was telling. I'll explain to you who told me that.
We've
got Carl Simpson, Spurs of all.
Oh, I'm not denying that at all. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. I know what you're saying. Eze, there's another one, Philip, during the week and tequila. Complications because of the release clause. Now, what I was told was it's a £60 million bid with 8 million add-ons. So that's 68 million. Tottenham are not willing to pay 68 million.
So what are we? Well, if we're prepared to pay 60 and we really want the player, then I'd bite the bullet and pay the extra. Or somebody else is going to get him.
Well, Eze wants to come to Spurs. That's his preferred choice.
Did you pay 68 million, Phil, for him?
I don't know. Listen, I don't think any player's worth 68 million. I'm sorry. I just cannot believe the current transfer fees have been inflated by the agents and the amount of commission they're getting. So no player, to me, is worth that sort of money. But it's market forces. It's what forced it up. You know, like back in the day, I remember when Jimmy Greaves came to Tottenham, right? Well, I don't remember, but I remember that he came for £99,999, and everybody thought, "My God, that's ridiculous." Now a player under 16 players probably earn that every couple of weeks.
I asked you, Philip, about Trevor Francis. You were, I was only a wee kid at the time.
Yeah, that was another one that I opened. Jaws hanging open for a week on that one, you know. And now but the thing about it is, Jimmy Greaves was a class player. Trevor Francis was a class player. The problem now is too many ordinary players are going for huge money that they're not worth. Nowhere near it.
Then, okay, so if we're good, this is actually this Thursday's podcast actually in the opposite direction what I planned for. So I'm enjoying this. So we're going to go on with this talk. So if you're saying ordinary players, Philip, are going for tequila are going for overpriced, who inflated the market in the first place?
The agents. Agents are to blame for this. Back in the day, the likes of Trevor Francis, Jimmy Greaves, they didn't have an agent.
No.
You know, there was no agents. Agents will, to me, you could have a player that's mad to come to Tottenham, right? And Tottenham are prepared to pay him 150 grand a week, right? Chelsea come along and offer him 160 grand a week. Now, he's in a position that he mightn't even get full-time football at Chelsea, but his agent will be pushing him to go to Chelsea because there's more money in it for him.
Yeah. And
that's what I can't stand about the agents.
Tequila, look, I love this talk because I've watched football since the 80s. Philip's been watching football since the middle of the 60s. You've watched football since the start of the Premier League and the explosion of the Premier League, right? So you've seen it. You've seen football go from what it is to what it is now. In your earliest days of watching football, right, as a youngster, Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that players would be going for 100 million?
Is that for me or Tequila?
That's for that's the kid. Then I go back to you.
No,
no. I mean, in your
no, I mean, and also, I mean, yeah, I'm.
In your day, it was Blackburn Ravens with the big spenders, weren't they?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that changed, obviously, the B Sky B money, of course, so that gave everybody a bit more money. And I also think Chelsea and Abramovich, when he came in and he started spending his money, I think that also raised some problems with the price of the transfers. Also, I remember a time when Spurs' biggest fee was for Darren Bent, and I think it was like 16 million that we ever spent. And I think it was for Darren Bent, and that record stood for a while. And I remember selling Dimitar Berbatov for 31 million to Man United. Think about it. Dimitar Berbatov, 31 million. We just signed Archie Gray for the same money.
Yeah. Can I just say something here, just to give you an example?
Probably a great prospect, but still.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example of the way things have gone here, right? The first confirmed record transfer was a Willie Groves from West Brom to Aston Villa in 1893. And the price they paid from was £100, which is equivalent to 14,000 at the moment. So move forward to 2017, and Neymar was bought from Barcelona to PSG for 222 million euros. Some difference from 100 quid to 222 million. So, but there are milestones along the way. Trevor Francis was the first million. Jimmy Greaves wasn't the first 100,000. He should have been only but for a pound. I'm not sure who the first 10 million pound player was, but it's just going up and up and up and up. And it's only a matter of time before someone is sold for 250 million. And that to me is just ridiculous, unsustainable.
Don't we love transfers? Tequila, look, do you want to have your final say in this conversation before we start talking about the QPR game tomorrow?
Yeah, I have to bow down to you guys' knowledge of what it was like before the Premiership. So my question probably to you is, was Jack Walker, at least over here, that I'm not sure about other countries, I'll keep it to just England, was Jack Walker the first sugar daddy kind of thing in football? Or were there people beforehand, relative, obviously, maybe they didn't spend as much money, but the relative? So was there people who came into clubs before Blackburn who just came in and just spent money, without any kind of hesitation and didn't expect to get any money back and just, went on a spending spree before Walker and Blackburn did?
Most of the owners of clubs back in the 60s and 70s were local businessmen. Like a butcher might have owned Nottingham, but a butcher did own Nottingham Forest, or they in Derby County. A butcher owned him in Brian Clough's day. The likes of the Richardsons in the Wales, who were businessmen in Tottenham, owned Tottenham. Now they put money into the club, certainly did. But you're right, Jack Walker was the first one that put his hand in his pocket and spent millions to bring success to a club. Up to that, the money that was spent was to keep the club going, to make sure it was relatively successful, but there was no sugar daddy. He was the first sugar daddy.
Well, would Martin Edwards at United on the start of Fergie's era, would he be another one?
He was slightly after that, though, wasn't he? Around the same time. Yeah. But Jack Walker was the first one that literally bought the title, if you know what I mean. And let's face it, Blackburn would never have won the title. United probably would have done. But Blackburn would never have won it without Jack Walker.
John Hall at Newcastle, he was around that era as well.
Yeah, I hope you're not going to mention Mike Ashley.
No. You had, and if you go back further than that, right? You look at Liverpool back in the 70s and 80s, right? Won everything with a squad of 15 or 16 players.
Yeah.
They won leagues, European Cups with a squad of 16.
Mm-hmm.
And they would only buy 2 players every summer. Sell 2, buy 2.
That's the same. Most teams were like that, really.
And go and do the double or the treble in the next season.
Yeah, but that's when the money was. The money was, they weren't in a position to buy any more players because the money just wasn't there. Let's look at. I don't know if you both remember Jimmy Hill, who did Match of the Day, right?
Yeah.
He took in 1960, I think it was. he took the Football League on strike, players on strike, to get the maximum wage reduced. The maximum wage was £20 a week.
Because of the wages, minimum wage.
You could not pay a player more than £20 a week, £15 a week in the summer. And fair play to Jimmy Hill for getting rid of that. But if he's looking at the wages that are around now, he's probably thinking, "My God, what did I start?"
He did, Phil, because he used to do a show on Sky Sports on Sunday mornings, and I remember watching it quite a while ago now. This is before obviously he passed, and he did kind of more or less say that he thought he did the right thing at the time, but the wages,
which he did, in all fairness,
that's what he thought, and he used to say that was his belief.
Jimmy Greaves never earned more than £100 a week.
Yeah.
Best striker Spurs have ever had at the Harry Kane. Never more earned that. So he just shows you any of the football. It's no wonder the clubs have to look after their old players now, because they do not have the money. They didn't make the money during the career like the guys are at the minute. Like any young footballer today with his head screwed on can make a comfortable enough living for the rest of his life and the money he learned out of football.
And that's playing in the youth, probably in that. Bit of news on Conor Gallagher. You'd be glad to know, Tequila. I've asked this especially
easily
because I know you loved Conor Gallagher, and I know you loved the Conor Gallagher news.
Thank you, Domo. I can't get enough. Tell me more, Domo. Tell me more.
Do you know Tequila rings me up at 3 a.m. Any news on Conor Gallagher? He's mad about it. I dream of Gallagher as well. Yeah, you do. I know you do. Conor Gallagher looks to be possibly heading to Villa. Not a done deal yet, but likes the project up there.
Well, that's the Jacob Ramsey and the Chelsea thing out the window. There, that's the case.
That's the very, very latest on Conor Gallagher. But the Jacob Ramsey is Tottenham are exploring a player plus cash deal for Aston Villa's Ramsey, with the Sosa heading the other way, nowhere near being done. But there's constant talks and going. The Spurs are looking at lots of avenues, lot of players, but we are in the business of doing stuff.
The Chelsea won't go to Villa if Gallagher goes, because they're going to have an overload of midfielders there.
We'll have to wait and see. We don't know what happened. We'll have to wait and see. QPR versus Spurs tomorrow. Philip at Loftus Road, a London derby. Looking forward to it. But we've got a question here from Boris. I've started it. And he says, a question for everyone. Shall we start Relaxia as a number 9 for the match tomorrow?
Yeah,
I say, why not?
Why not? It's going to be the same tomorrow. There's going to be 2 different teams each half. But he's played the second half of last time. Play that team in the first half this week.
Yeah.
And see how they get on. I'll mix it up a wee bit. I'd be a bit happier if we played a bit more recognised centre back now. Play Ashley Phillips, but in the first half, because QPR will be a bigger test than the Hearts were. But I'd say it's going to be much of a muchness tomorrow, albeit in a different order.
Do you think we'll send Phillips out on loan?
No, I think okay. I think we'll keep him.
I think Philip will be the 4th centre back for Tottenham.
I think we'll keep him in the team.
Yeah. Look, to answer your question, Boris, I think yes.
What Philip's going to be? You're lacing up the boots, Phil.
Yeah, he is. I agree with you, Boris. I think he will start. I think he should start. I think he did enough in that second half to deserve a start.
He's got a 5-year contract. He just signed a 5-year contract. So he's a keeper. He really is a keeper.
And Mikey Moore as well. I think all the kids deserve a start. What do you want to see tomorrow, Tequila, from tomorrow? What do you want to see Ange do tomorrow? Do you want different formations? Do you want different players starting? What do you want to see Ange do tomorrow?
I don't mind Ange testing the waters with a couple of players that maybe he's thinking about integrating into the first team this year. Some of the youngsters, but it is about, you got to remember, it is mainly about getting match fitness. I mean, if you are going to experiment, now is the time to do it, because you don't want to be screwing with stuff really in the first game of the Premiership. But so let him try players out in position. But for me, mainly, I see these friendly games as, I don't mind if we win or lose, really. It's about match fitness. I don't think the players mind if they win or lose. I mean, you're going to get some players like Jed Spence. Jed Spence probably went out there to prove a point, and for all purposes, he probably did. He's raised his profile probably in Ange's mind. Is that going to be enough to save him? I don't know. Ange might say, okay, well, go do it for me again. You can do it one time, but go show me that you can do it on a regular basis. So maybe they'll start Spence, and Ange will give him another look. Like I say, Spence can prove that that he's viable cover for Porro and that the quality is not going to be that less, then that will save us 20 or 30 million that we'd have to go and buy a right back cover for Porro. So I want to see more Spence, because there was obviously something about him and he did well at Forest.
Yeah. I mean, that sort of that's the question I had for this segment of the podcast. Do you start Spence and Phillips tomorrow? And you sort of answered the question anyway. So
it's going to be two teams, so they're going to start either for one of the halves anyway.
Sorry, Demo.
Can I just say one other thing? Just say one other thing. I've just seen this coming through and this is a transfer of an ex-player of ours. Eric Lamela has got a hero's reception when he arrived in Athens to sign for AEK. So good luck to Eric Lamela. I have a great soft spot for that fella.
Yeah, big up to him as well. Look, so score prediction then, guys. What are you going for tomorrow, Philip?
Oh, friendly match. I don't know. 2-0 to Spurs. We won't score 5, that's for sure.
Tequila, what are you going for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I can see a couple of goals. Maybe 2-0, 3-0, no more than 3. They're going to be a tougher task than the last game, yeah.
I'm going for 4-0. That's my scoreline for tomorrow. Of course, you can see it here live on THFC Till I Die. We're doing a full watch-along and a watch-along for every pre-season game going. And then, of course, we start with Leicester. And then after the Leicester game, there will be a fan show. So we're all that to come. Now, I was going to talk about Ange and the kids, and we have talked about that through the Hearts game and the QPR game, so we won't stop there. Last question of this podcast before we finish off tonight, guys. If you could pick one player Tottenham could buy this summer, now it has to be realistic, and it has to be that Tottenham could go and get them. Right? Who do you want Spurs to go after? The player and your reason why. And we'll leave this to the chat as well. Put it in the chat and put it in the comments. But Philip and Tequila, I don't know who wants to go first. So just, if you got a player, okay. Who do you want to go for? Realistically, the player and the reason why.
Conor Gallagher, so I haven't got to hear about it anymore.
Reason why?
So I haven't got to hear about it anymore. For my own peace of my own sanity. No, realistically, I'd like this to get. I care more. I so badly need a proper striker, right?
Yeah.
I'd like Vlahovic. I still think that he's viable. I know his stock's dropped a little bit. From his Florentina days, right? I know that he hasn't set the world alight, but we would have all bitten everybody's arm off if we would have got him from Florentina. And I know that he wasn't that impressive in the Euros either, but I don't think that he just becomes a bad player overnight. And I think he would do well in the Premiership. He's a big lad. He can hold the ball up. He can get goals. I so badly want to have a really good striker again. And maybe I was sport because we had Kane for so long, but so be it. That would be my, and I think it's realistic. I don't think it would be impossible. That's my one.
Mr. Brady, who are you going for? And
it has to be a striker, I think. Really,
yeah.
Probably Jonathan David. I would say maybe because he's, as you say, we've been talking to him for months. He's obviously passed the test for Ange ball. He plays the type of player we want. And he'll supplement the young kids that we have coming through. And just to finish, I just have to say something to Steve Perryman's after saying on his podcast, right? And this is about the young kids. Now, this is very, very true. I'll read this out. It's not very long. People often refer to our young players as, in brackets, kids, recognizing their promise, prospects, and ongoing development. But please, folks, don't use social media to overhype and talk up these players too much. Excessive praise and unrealistic expectations can be detrimental to their growth. That's a very wise statement from a very wise old footballer. In other words, don't let this go to the kids' heads and think they're better than they are at the moment, you know. Anyway, back to the transfers. Yeah, David, I think, will be a good one for me. We'll probably end up with Ivan Toney or someone, but you know.
For me, I would love for us to get Eze. I just love Eze. I love him as a player.
Yeah. True.
I love him as what he's done at Palace. I like what he did with England when he did get on, bless him. But I think Ezzy would just would improve us so much. And of course, I want a striker. A defender, I don't know who we get. A winger, there's a few. But for me, Ezzy's my man. Tequila's going for Gallagher because he loves them, because he can. And Philip's going for Johnson. To Davis, let us know in the chat what you guys think.
Vlahovic, not Gallagher. I was joking about Gallagher.
Vlahovic, sorry. And that's the end of the podcast.
Not Gallagher, bloody hell, Dermo.
Thank you so much for everyone for joining. This will be going up on Spotify once I can remember how to work the podcast system, but I will do. It'll take me a while, but it will be up in the next few days. Tequila, where can people find you, sir? And thank you for coming on again. And is this you going to have to? What I want to do, I'm going to put a poll up in the chat, right? I want the viewers to decide, Tequila, who you stay as for the season. Now, we've seen a lot of different characters during pre-season. We've seen the raccoon. We've seen Samba. We've seen a cat. We've seen
a burger.
Fish. We saw a shark.
Cat, a burger.
A burger.
Mint berry crush. Yeah.
A mint berry, yeah.
So fish as well.
It's down to you guys. For the less
I'll let the fans decide. The fans can decide. They can.
Yeah.
The fans can decide.
For the start of the Premier League season, and this is what he's going to run with for the whole season, by the way. Who do you want to be? I don't believe I'm asking this. I don't believe I've just had. I don't believe this is coming out of my mouth, but it is. Who do you want Tequila to be for the season? Philip, do you have a favourite? Just for your point of view.
I'm completely zapped by what you're after saying. I think I'll make up my mind over the next couple of weeks. All right.
I want you to become Samba. I think Samba for me is the best one for me.
You want Samba?
Okay. Yeah, put Samba in that studio. You'd be grand. Big up to our tail Cockeral. Says good evening, Dermot, Philip, and the cat below. All that's in the chat. I hope you're well and healthy. Well, look, I'm grand. Yeah, my back is my back.
Hey, Jose.
My back is my back. It's still fucked, and I'm still in agony with it. But look, it is what it is. But great to see you in. Elton, I hope you do well. Get you on this season, sir, for sure. And Gary, the last one on the podcast, he says, I love Vlahovic. He was perfect to replace Kane, but we don't play the way anymore. David really suits Ange more than Grossi and Vlahovic. And Tequila, where can people find you, sir?
Obviously, you can find me on here with you great lads. And you can find me on the Play Pouch where we do podcasts. And we've just had a video get over 1,500 views, which is bloody crazy, about Microsoft and putting their prices up. So, yeah, anyone who would love to sub would be grateful. Thanks for having me again, lads.
No, you're more than welcome. And Philip, of course, you joining me tomorrow for the watch along?
Yep, I am indeed.
So me and Philip are back again, watch along mode. Tequila may even join us for the watch along. I hope he does. I hope you do, Tequila. You can find the link somewhere and you can join us for the watch along. But
I can find a way to watch it, then
I'll
have a look.
Carl Simpson says, can we have a Playboy Bunny avatar? He would go there, wouldn't he? Oh well, but listen, that has been the
not seen one. If I could find one, then I'll do it. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that has been the Cockeral Clock podcast. Thank you all for joining. Absolutely been a wonderful podcast. This will be going up on Spotify. We're back tomorrow at 2:45 with the QPR Spurs game. Don't forget to hint that QR code up the top for you, for your Patreon as well, for your fan shows at the start of the season. Whatever you're doing, come on, you Spurs. And big Ange, we trust. We're back tomorrow. Where is it? Where's my goodbye one?